All right, everybody, welcome back to the KSR YouTube channel. We're back at the shop. It's another day of lots of stuff happening. See Drew's cranking on the Corvette. Like, we are almost ready to pop the cage out of that car. Maybe take it, do some powder coating. Got a few more things to do to it, like the dash bar, as well as possibly tie down to the transmission tunnel. Haven't completely finished up on that yet. But also, Spencer's car is finally got some tubes going back in it down in the floor. So CJ's working on doing that, and I've been helping him doing the welding. But today, Soccer Mom stuff. And just wanted to show you guys a little thing we've got going on for you Soccer Mom fans. Maybe you're wiring your car, maybe you're not a Soccer Mom fan, but you want to get some stuff from WireCare. We've got a bundle that we have put together. I'll set the camera down. So, like I said, we've got a bundle that we have put together for you guys that includes a Soccer Mom shirt, bam, Soccer Mom logo on the front. Also, all of our Soccer Mom stickers, including a KSR sticker, as well as the KSR little keychain thing, and a KSR lanyard, and the Soccer Mom poster. It's like 80 plus bucks worth of stuff. Get it all, I think the price, yeah, starts at $49.99, and you get a free shipping voucher for WireCare. So any purchase that you make at WireCare through, looks like through August 15th. I'm not 100% sure that's the final date for everything, but we'll definitely clarify that. I know that it's gonna last roughly around a month for this bundle and the free shipping code. So you'll get a code when you place an order. It'll come with a voucher for your free shipping. So kind of a little bit to give back to you guys that are watching the channel. WireCare's helping us out with this promotion, so big thanks to them. And not really a wiring update today, but an update with the block. So you guys want to get in on the bundle, winwithksr.com, and you can go to the merch tab, merch page, whatever you want to call it. But for now, let's go show you what we're working on for today's video. All right, so like I said in the last video of Soccer Mom, when we were at Will's house, working in the AC, thankfully today it's not too hot. So we're looking at, what's that, about 87 degrees, but look at that humidity. Almost 70% humidity. Anyways, that's why we're gonna be trying to get AC in the shop soon. But what we are doing today is the 1/2 inch upgrade to the head bolts holes, or head stud holes, on our LS. So for those of you that don't think that's a 5.3 block, see how much gap we got between the cylinders here? Yep, Soccer Mom is definitely a 5.3 block, but we're gonna try and see if we can keep the heads clamped on it a little bit better by doing this 1/2 inch head stud upgrade. And then we're gonna have it machined for top fuel hoops. I may put that in this video. Let's see how that works out. Gotta get with the machine shop and see how fast he's gonna be able to get that done. But stay tuned for that and see if it actually made it in the video or not. But for now, we're gonna start in with our upgrade. And I've actually purchased this kit from Tick Performance for doing 1/2 inch upgrades. See, that goes on there real nice, and then we actually bolt it down. So after you get close to being done, we use a 1/2 inch stud. Yep. Bolt it down. Yep. All right, well, I think this will probably work a little bit better if I just do a time lapse, and I'll walk you guys through the time lapse, because otherwise this is going to be a 2-hour-long video. So see you in the time lapse. Well, let's get started on this project with Soccer Mom's block. And you can see we're bolting it all down here, but then we take it back off again. And basically, short story is I lost the dowels that the kit comes with. So I grabbed some off of the shelf that I had in another package, and they were a little bit too long. So I actually had to take them over to the mill, shorten them about 50 thousandths because the plate that we got from Tick Performance was not sitting down square on the engine block because the dowels were too long, basically for the space that we had in the block and in the plate itself. So got all that fixed. Now we're moving on, and actually I was over helping Drew a little bit with a project. You can see him rolling a tube back and forth, which we're going to show you a little bit more about that later in the video. But to begin with, we first have to drill the block out for the area where the shoulder will be on the 1/2 inch head stud. So we drill that out to give the shoulder somewhere to go because the shoulder is actually larger than the threads. And then we come back in with another drill bit that is the proper size to then tap where the threads are at the base, where we're going to use another drill bit and drill out the threads all the way to the bottom of the hole, and then use the tap that is supplied with the kit to tap the new 1/2 inch by 13 threads all the way to the bottom of the head stud boss. It's really a factory head bolt boss or hole. So you can see we're moving a bushing from hole to hole, and each step comes with a different bushing so that you have a very true and a very straight alignment for when you're drilling the holes in the block. So it's a little bit of a tedious process, but it is something that you can completely do yourself, and it's not hard at all, and comes with pretty much everything you're going to need except for maybe a set of stock head bolts to hold the jig assembly to the block. And it doesn't come with the 1/2 inch head studs either, but you can buy those also from Tick Performance. I actually keep a couple sets of them in stock now too, just because we are probably going to be doing this to almost every boosted LS engine that we build, at least one that has a factory block, just because if the same thing holds true like it has on the Lawn Dart and a couple other engines that we've done, it's a good way to do it. So as we progress through the different drill sizes and then we move on to tapping, make sure that you are blowing out all of the debris between each step. And once I started tapping, I counted the turns of the tap, and I made sure that I was only going about half of the turns for each step, and then I back the tap out, blow the tap off, blow the hole out, re-oil the tap, and then tap the hole the rest of the way to the bottom. So you definitely do not want to skimp on your cutting oil when it comes to tapping the holes in the block. I use just regular WD-40 for when I'm drilling the holes in the block, just to give it just a little bit of lube. And then I have some thicker lube that I use for tapping oil that you can kind of see it on the corner of the table there. Just something I got from my local bolt supply place. And it works really good to keep everything lubed up nice and make sure you're cutting nice clean threads. So let's get back to the live action. All right. Well, let's see if we pass it off. Well, now our block is machined for 1/2 inch head studs. So those thread in there are nice, but the same stud won't go through the cylinder head. So now we take the same jig, bolt it to the cylinder head, and at least that goes a little faster because you're just skimming the holes out the whole way. And I don't know if you saw me use this little thing in the time lapse, but that is one of my favorite cheap tools. It's called a deburr tool, and it's awesome. Like, they work for taking the edges out of like pipes once you've cut them, intercooler piping, roll cage tubing. It's just like a little blade that swivels around. They're fantastic. I forget who turned me on to these years ago, but it's like an $8, $10 tool. So anyways, it's time to do the cylinder head, and then I'll probably just show you what else happened while in the background while I was working on the cylinder heads and the block deal. Probably won't show you the second half because it'll just be the same thing 2 times, but at least you kind of got an idea of what it takes to drill and tap the block. So let's get on to the cylinder head and see if we can wrap that up. And then I'm gonna haul them down to the machine shop, hopefully get them back pretty quick with them top fuel hooped. And then Will's got to finish the wiring.
A lot of wiring, a lot of wiring.
Coming along nice though.
It is, it's a little overwhelming, but yeah, it's coming along.
Cool.
Hopefully it's gonna be KSR quality.
Oh yeah, well, I'm gonna have a party over there Saturday, do some more wiring on it, hopefully get it fairly close. I mean, we're getting kind of close. Like you chipping away in the afternoons, and then yeah, we'll see.
Probably gonna take 2 weekends.
2 weekends.
Hopefully this weekend will be a big majority of it.
Hopefully we can get some wiring done, and then I know the block, I bet we can put the block together in a day. Like it's
I got the rings all filed. Yep. It's all ready to go back together. So
all the bearings, like all the bearings are good, even from sick week. So just smash all that back together, load her up, and go racing. So we'll get back to work on this, and we'll see you in just a few minutes. All right, so just like with the block, I'm gonna walk you guys through the cylinder head modifications in a time lapse. And the first thing we are doing is bolting the plate assembly to the cylinder head. We're using the dowels to locate everything perfectly. And then to guide the drill bit, we're using that same drill bit bushing that we used to drill the block. It's actually the first step in the block so that the stud can go down in the block, you know, like the shouldered part of the stud that's thicker than the threaded part. So we've got to drill all of the cylinder heads to that larger drill bit, and we're using just regular 3/8 bolts with some washers on the top side of the cylinder head to hold everything together. And then once we finish with that, we take those 3/8 bolts out and then go ahead and use the 1/2-inch head studs, and then just put a nut on each end of it with some spacers so that we can get it tight and then, you know, clamp everything solid. So once we're done with that, take some brake cleaner to brake clean any oil off of the cylinder head and the valve springs, and then blow everything off dry, and then actually spray some WD-40 back on the valve springs just to prevent any surface rust from forming. Well, as you can kind of tell in, or maybe you can't tell, but I made a mess. You can't really see it, but yeah, there's shavings all over everything. So be sure to really clean your block and cylinder heads after doing this process. I mean, I got it all over the floor. It's just everywhere.
all over my head.
All over geese. I did blow some against, when I was clearing out the block, it went over and landed on CJ, so he pushed his car back that he's working on. So, yeah, it's just everywhere. So I got some cleanup to do, plus I got to do the whole process again for the other side of the block and the other cylinder head. So doing the video on it actually made it take a little bit longer because, you know, we kind of would stop and show you guys what we were doing. But anyways, jump over to the other side, get that knocked out, and then we'll show you what else we got going on in the rest of the shop. Whew. Well, after we got all the SoccerMom block drilled, tapped, chamfered, cylinder heads drilled, all that stuff, she's ready to go to the machine shop. And then while I was doing that, CJ has been chopping on bars to weld into the floor. And then as soon as I finished drilling and tapping the block, I jumped over here and I've been welding for several hours. And I'm exhausted and tired and hot and sweaty and ready to go home. But this is almost all of the floor bars with a couple of extras to meet the 25.3 SFI spec. So those of us that build roll cages for cars that go faster than 850, you have to adhere to a specification set forth by the SFI Foundation. Whatever SFI stands for, I don't know. But NHRA mandates that you use their specs based on the weight and the design of the car. Like there's different rules for if you have stock floor, if you have a perimeter frame or a unibody. But yeah, you can see we kind of cut out all this one. And the 25.3 spec is a spec that can be installed in a car with a perimeter frame, like my Cutlass over here. That one is also 25.3. And it still has the factory frame on the outside of it, but there's some different things we're going to be doing with it in the future. Hopefully, as soon as we get back from LS Fest, because I've got a few projects we got to knock out before LS Fest, which is coming up quick. And right before that, Cletus and Cars Bristol, which we've got a big project we got to get done before that too. I'll show you guys that sometime coming up soon. So, anyways, that's a lot of the bars for 25.3. We've got to complete this X here. It'll go up there, and then you can see the little hoop hanging over there, kind of in that corner. That's half of the drive shaft loop that's going to end up here in the front. This cross member right here is going to be getting cut, and then there will be like a double flange on each side of it. It's got to be a 1/4 inch thick to match the spec, and then that can be removable to be able to remove your transmission. So the transmission hangs over this, and it'd be a lot nicer if that was removable. So we've got a little bit more work to do. I'm actually going to add something else here, and then with a hoop, some kind of hoop here that the mid plate can bolt to behind the engine. We actually had a mock-up engine and transmission in here earlier to kind of just get a position on where that all is going to go. But yeah, been lots of welding on this. I think I've been at it for about 8 hours now, because it's after hours and everybody else has left but me and Drew. Drew's over here almost done with the Corvette cage.
Almost don't count.
Almost don't count. Yeah, I guess you're right. But if you see, and if you saw in the time lapse, you can see how this bar has a big long curve to it. Well, we got this tool from Swag Off-Road, and it is a roll bender. So you can push down with this center jack here, and then roll your pipe or your tube through. Whoop, didn't think that was going to go over. And when you roll it through there, it puts a big long bend in it. And you can kind of see where we did it on the roof. It's got kind of a long curve in the roof, which will give them more room for their helmet over there to keep their helmet below the roof line.
Them guys do have some big heads.
They probably don't watch the videos anyway.
That's
so
okay.
But Grant and Chuck are getting excited for this one. And this kind of matches the curvature of the front windshield. So we'll have some tabs that come off of here that the windshield can bolt to, and the body, because the roof is over there on the ground. But all of that's gonna bolt on, and obviously because it bolts on, it will be removable. So the goal is to try to make that somewhat easily removable. And I kind of mentioned before on how I try to design my cages to where the bars, you know, line up with different things. Like you see our door bar lines up with this, lines up with the harness bar, comes down, goes up, intersects with the bar that goes down to the front subframe. On that side, we actually did 2 bars that connect both the bars, the door bars, so if they take a shot in the door, the idea is that it will spread the load around them. And in the roof section, we'll get up here, see if we can see it better. You can see how our rear bar comes up, crisscrosses. Well, he hasn't done them on this side yet. So this bar comes up, crisscrosses across the roof, goes into that diagonal, and then goes down right into that door bar. So the idea there is just it gives another level or another layer of protection if this thing ends up on its lid. Not that we want that to happen, but race cars crash, right?
I mean, every once in a while, but not supposed to.
So as a builder, we have to consider that. I mean, if you knew you weren't going to crash, why would you put a roll cage in a car? But because we're putting a roll cage in the car, trying to make it extra safe for the guys, they have the small engine they're going to be running for their endurance racing but I have a feeling, because I've known Grant and Chuck for a lot of years, they're gonna put a big motor in this thing and they're gonna go fast. Like, I know Chuck has an LS7 based engine sitting around his house. It's got some crazy heads on it. And it was in another car, another Corvette that he had that actually got crashed. Crashed on the street. But somebody cut into the side of him and he ended up in a ditch and on his lid. So, trying to make that where they're not gonna have a problem if this car ends up on his lid. So anyways, the engine out of that car is in his garage and he's gone through it and made it even better. But the little bitty engine to begin with will go in here. So other than 2 more bars to go here, gotta do a dash bar, and I think that's it.
Got this little bar here.
Still might do that little bar there, I don't know. Maybe do a little teeny tiny one.
Yeah.
Like 1 inch or 3/4 or something, but anyways, that's gonna wrap up what we've got going today. It's been a long little outro, but cranking along on Spencer's car, cranking along on that. Steve's dually had a little transmission leak he couldn't figure out, so we've had it in here and been heat cycling it to try to make it leak again. Got it to leak one time, but it didn't leak again. So we're gonna get that thing back out of here and go to the track again with it as soon as Steve can fit it into his schedule. So it's gonna wrap it up for this video. Appreciate everybody watching and subscribing. See you guys next time.